Welcome in. And today I'll describe how and why tanks and supports need to unite against the DPS mains. Now that might sound a little bit combative, but I'll give my reasons of why I say that. And I'll use a couple clips. Here's one from Jay. This is from 8 hours ago. And then I just recently saw this one from Flats, and from the comments, it's at a minimum of 2 hours ago. Now I'll leave them on screen while I talk, so if you want, you can look up the name, etc. Anyway, for the longest time, triple support has been said, oh, it's ran every game. It's this, it's that. Forcing vanguards, 1 vanguard, 2 duelists, 3 strategists to absolutely get bodied. 45% win rate. Bad DPS, switch to support, think it's an instant win button. DPS in this game are so overtuned and their damage is so high, they have counters for pretty much every character in the entire game, tanks and supports. Name any tank and support, a DPS counters them. No matter who. You play Thing, Moon Knight. You play Groot, Moon Knight Punisher. I mean, anything. I mean, let's just go to support to list a couple examples. Loki, Moon Knight Bucky, Rocket, Phoenix. I mean, the list goes on for both of them. I mean, I listed 2 from each, and that's already around 20% of the entire list of the DPS and supports. Because I think there's around 12 for each of them. And it's not just supports that complain about DPS players, it's also tanks. DPS players are always the first one to cry about heals. 9 times out of 10, it's the DPS on your team. Now I'll show Jay's clip first. I'll explain a little bit after that, but let's show here.
Brother, those rates aren't correct. They calculate the teams as first picked, not most playtime. We calculate these lineup usage stats based on time spent in each composition. They don't, though. So not only did you just say that but you were proven wrong, and you still think you're...
Play this lineup, use it.
That's DPS for you right there. You could give them hard facts, data in front of them, quotes in from them. He literally said we calculate these lineup usage stats based on the time spent in each composition. Meaning, and I think this is almost an exact quote of the developer right here, if there's a 10-minute game and a person switches to triple support for 1 minute, that's 10% of the game. Let's say they run 2-2-2 the rest of it. That means it'll be calculated, and if they lose, 90% of a loss for double, and a 10% loss for triple, whether it be 1 vanguard or 2 vanguard. Same with the use rate. It's calculated the exact same way, which both of them have a 45 and a 46 in all ranks. And it's even worse down here with 2 vanguards having a 47 and 1 vanguard having a 41. But no, they'll still say buff all of our characters. There's a reason there's an epidemic of instant lock DPSers. You play quick play, chances are you're gonna have more than 3 DPS. 3 duelists have a 16% pick rate, almost double each individually of the triple support. Down here, it's a little less, but it's still double triple support, both comps. But they'll still force their characters. They'll complain when a character's weak, because, you know, they can't have any weak characters in their role of close to and around 25 characters. Yeah, we can't have anyone weak in there. Now let's go to Flats. I just watched this, and I'll read some of the comments and comment on that.
Here's the Season 6 lineup pick and win race.
Okay, 222 has the highest use rate in the game and the highest win rate, and they're the only ones that have positive win rates. By the way, real quick, screenshot this. When you load in the game and you make your tank solo tank, the triple support or whatever it is, know that you are playing against yourselves, okay? Stop it. 222 is the best version, and it has the highest win rate, and it's not even close. I don't want to hear another motherfucker ever say when I locked solo tank, they go, oh, we can solo tank, that's fine. No, it's not. Celestial above, 132. By the way, triple DPS players, yo, look at this. People who lock 3 DPS, yeah, you motherfuckers are the reason we lose in games, by the way. Look at this.
Exactly. Triple DPS, guys. Second most popular in the game, no matter if it's Celestial and above or all ranks. Yeah, just because there are some underpowered DPS doesn't mean you need to buff all of them. Some people in hate commenters might say, oh, well, look at the win rate. It's lower than some triple support comps like this one, for example, out of, the 4 examples. That means DPS are super weak if there's ran 3 of them. No, it's that the game was designed around 2-2-2. That's why triple support is horrible. Has a 41% win rate for 1 Vanguard and Celestial and above. Hell, 3 Vanguards have a higher win rate than both triple support comps. But yeah, we need triple DPS because, we all want to play the main character. This is a solo player game. If I don't get my way, I need to buff all my characters to oblivion. Oh, something counters me. Well, I better nerf them in the ground because, I have to win every 1v1. Everybody else has to be at the bay of me, We have to win every 1v1 because, that's our purpose, is to kill. Meanwhile, you're letting tanks solo tank. And if you do horrible, you don't go to another tank. You go to triple support because you solely believe all supports are brain dead broken, even though they have the worst buff to nerf ratio in the entire game. And before someone says, all buffs and nerfs aren't equal. Yeah, for every role. There's examples of that in every single role, you know that, right? And I like this one. Support players and tank players uniting to hate on DPS players. Love to see it. I wonder what people saying here. Not you. DPS players are annoying, but support is 1000% worse. I'm sorry. Another person says, I'm a DPS player. No, you are wrong. Where's 6 DPS? It secretly has the highest win rate in Rivals. Oh my god. Now make this stat go public. Deserve. You realize that triple support has a lower win rate than triple DPS and Celestial and above. Is that actually true? Celestial and above. 1 Vanguard, 3 Duelists, 2 Strategists, a 43.46% win rate. 1 Vanguard, 2 Duelists, 3 Strategists, a 41.15% win rate. Oh my god, it's true. Triple DPS has a higher win rate than triple support. Should we nerf every DPS in the ground, guys? How about this? If there's 3 DPS, nerf damage by 15% since that's what you guys want to do with us with triple support. Let's nerf damage by 15% if there's 3 Duelists. How about that? I honestly quit playing for a bit because it's every fucking game in quick play. I almost never see triple support. Don't like it either, but some variety would be nice. But I constantly see triple DPS. To the point I have threatened to swap to get people to change. Usually stuck, solo tanking, or sometimes even solo healing. Please let this shit change. And I'm glad Jay and Flats, even though I don't agree with everything they say, even though I do agree they are toxic, well, not mostly Jay, but they have some toxic moments, I still respect them for covering this. I mean, this is good right here, just pointing down to the stats. The devs literally told DPS, shut the fuck up. Here are the stats. And they're still crying about it. These DPS can never get their way. This is what DPS has won. Nerf every tank and support to oblivion. Have every DPS be viable and strong. Have all of their counters nerfed to the ground, play a solo player game in multiplayer comp, and then if they even die one time because healing got nerfed to the ground, they'll say GG no heals and blame the supports. Blame the tanks for not pushing up. You do realize tanks and supports have like a symbiotic relationship, right? The more you nerf healing, the more you impact tank, because DPS is so goddamn high in this game. Damage is through the roof. That means you need strong healing. And if tanks can't push up and form a front line because there's lack of healing and more damage than you can sustain, that's a fucking problem. The maps were based around the meta the devs envisioned. If you want good DPS and a lot less healing, go the fuck over to Overwatch again. Rivals is not third-person Overwatch. It has a completely different meta. So you shouldn't make it Overwatch and say, oh, it's not like Overwatch, where the healers, DPS, and tanks have the exact same priorities and buffs and nerfs and benefits. No, this is Marvel fucking Rivals. Get used to it. If you hurt supports, you hurt tanks. Because you want to play single player DPS, auto lock every game, and then complain when you actually have to fill. You let your supports down by saying you don't want to heal for them because, oh, they're immortal, and then you say you don't want to fill tank because you only play DPS, leaving your tank to solo tank. And this problem will never be fixed. I like that he's talking about it. He's a tank player who can flex to other roles. I'm a support player who can flex to other roles. I've won with tank and with DPS and high celestial. And Jay is one of my favorite content creators, which I'm glad he's talking about this and calling out someone in his Twitch chat who says, oh, that's all based on full games played. Let's actually replay that quickly right here.
Brother, those Those rates aren't correct. They calculate the teams as first picked, not most playtime. We calculate these lineup usage stats based on time spent in each composition. They don't, though. So not only did you just say that, but you were proven wrong, and you still think you're...
Play this lineup using
I mean, you cannot debate DPS players because they do not admit how stupid they are. You could literally have a hard facts in front of them. Have the devs say word for word, we calculate these lineup usage stats based on time spent in each composition. And then you'll have another player say, actually, he's lying. That's not actually true. Like, he knows more about the devs on the game than the actual devs. I'll end the video by saying this. Support and tank players, we need to unite against these DPS players. There is nothing worse to go against than all of their CC abilities and getting melted in 0.1 seconds when your healer isn't pocketing you. I bet the majority of us can agree that we would rather stay alive for a long time than actually disintegrate in 0.1 seconds because we're not getting pocketed for 0.1 seconds. DPS get so much value just by having decent aim. The strongest DPS, Hela has a stun, Phoenix has a stun, Bucky has a stun, Wolverine has a grab, Elsa's ult is pretty much a giant CC, and with the new character, White Fox coming out, we give everybody CC immunity. There's nothing tanks hate more other than getting disintegrated than to be in a CC chain. People, mostly tank mans I'm talking to, we need to agree and unite. This is a symbiotic relationship right now, in a healthy way. We help you, you help us. We babysit the DPS. The DPS don't peel for us and frontline in front of you. We shouldn't have that anymore. It shouldn't be this way. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video. See ya.